everyone. Welcome back to Web3 Deep Dive Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Wolfson. Today, I'm actually doing a remote podcast recording with a very special guest who's joining us all the way from Amsterdam. And as you know, I'm here in Austin, Texas at Quai Network here at the podcast studio. But today I will be speaking with Sharon Sciammas. He is the CMO of ChainGPT. This is such a great interview because we talk all about some of the hottest topics right now: blockchain, crypto, and AI. So Sharon goes into detail about how all three of these technologies are connected, how AI is helping the crypto and blockchain space advance. We talk all about AI agents and the evolution of AI agents and what we can expect next in terms of AI. We also talk about AI and how that's impacting other industries. We talk about like the publishing industry, for instance. So this is a really interesting episode, and I encourage you guys to watch the entire interview with Sharon because he has some really great insights to share. So yeah, just so excited for this interview. Also, before getting started with today's interview, I want to take the time to thank Quai Network. Once again, I'm here filming at the Quai studio. You guys are great. Quai Network is a layer 1 blockchain, and you should definitely check them out. Read more about Quai in the show notes. Okay. Oh, and also, before we get started with today's interview, I want to remind you guys to smash that like button, hit subscribe. If you like the content that you're seeing today, I've got plenty more of that coming. And I encourage all of you to stay in touch and follow me and subscribe and do all of that so you are up to date on everything. Okay. Without further ado, let's get started with today's interview. Hey, Sharon, how's it going?
Great. Hi, Rachel. Great to be here.
I know. Yes. And you are joining the studio remotely. So where are you based, or where are you right now?
Right now, home office in Amsterdam, the Netherlands.
Nice.
And you?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
But I love Amsterdam. I've been multiple times, and it's one of my favorite places to visit when the weather's nice.
Yeah, that's true. Now it's spring is coming, so it's really nice out there. Everything is just blooming and white and different colors and green.
Yeah.
So it's the perfect time to be in Amsterdam if you're visiting soon.
I love that. And also like the houseboats. I want to do an Airbnb next time I'm there on one of the houseboats. That's something that's on my wish list.
Mine, also my on my wish list.
Yeah.
One day. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it.
Nice. Great. Well, Sharon, before we get started with the questions, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, what you do at ChainGPT? And yeah, we can get started with the questions then.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm turning 44, which is kind of crazy to think about it. Family, kids, wife, mortgage, the whole shebang. Living in Amsterdam, originally from Israel. Living here in the past 8 years. Started my career 20 years ago, which again, it's like sound crazy. When we started, there was no AWS. We used CDs and big servers to do things, installing. So that's back in the days. Co-founded a startup and then started my career in tech in different roles, engineering manager, product roles, BI. In the past 6 years, growth, which is also marketing. I've been all over the place. I think like 6 industries in US, in Israel, now in the Netherlands, and the past 3 years in crypto, Web3. So it's quite a journey, I will say. I've seen ups and downs in general, like not just Web3, but it's very exciting. I love being in tech. I love being in marketing, my favorite. Yeah, what else?
Well, so fun fact, I actually used to live in Tel Aviv. I was there for 4 years. I made Aliyah. So I have a special place in my heart for Tel Aviv and Israel, and I go back. I actually haven't been back in a few years, but those were the best years of my entire life when I was there in my 20s.
Yeah, I totally understand. The food, the people, the beach, the weather. It's a interesting mixture, definitely.
Yes, and Medaberet Ivrit of all. I have a
Okay.
Yeshli Miftach, so I've got an accent. For
Okay.
our listeners that speak Hebrew, they know what I'm saying, maybe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, and by the way, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Is it Sharon or Sharon? Or
In Hebrew, it's Sharon, which
Sharon?
is, I don't know if people, yeah.
Sharon. Okay.
So, but whatever, it works.
I'm going to say
Yeah.
Sharon. Um,
Okay, that's awesome.
Great. So, Sharon, tell us a little bit about ChainGPT and what you guys are doing.
Yeah. So ChangeGPT has a vision to bring AI to blockchain and solve core problems. And basically, it's three companies, to be honest. We have a company that develop AI products for blockchain users or crypto users. We have a launchpad, to be honest, like two. So it's a decentralized way to crowdfunding projects without using buzzwords. And we have an investment arm that we already invest in a dozen of companies. So it's an ecosystem of 10 AI products, two launchpads that already done like around 50 IDOs, and an investment arm. Around 100 people all over the world. Everything is remote. Some of my team members, I never met them, which is kind of interesting space to be, coming from Web 2. And again, our vision is to solve the core problems. For example, we have tools that helps developers to create smart contracts automatically, to audit them, audit the smart contracts. We have chatbots to swap tokens just using prompts. So we're making, let's call it the blockchain accessible, more trusted, more secure for users, but we also have some B2B products. We are, I will say, we're quite famous. We have around 1 million followers on Twitter, on all social media. I think a couple of millions. Very active community, very active DAO also. So it's quite an interesting space to be in crypto and blockchain. So that's like in a nutshell.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, we'll obviously dig deeper, but can you tell us your thoughts? Like, why is it that crypto, blockchain, AI kind of all go hand in hand, or why are these technologies all in relation to one another?
Um, I think, in crypto, everybody's looking for the next hot thing. And when we started like 2 years ago, ChatGPT was in the beginning, and it was very exciting technology that you can write stuff, it can generate for you. Um, but if you look at crypto and blockchain, is very complicated, to be honest. New things are emerging, DeFi protocols. It's very sometimes not super secure, and AI basically solves it, just to be very simple, right? So imagine you just use some kind of a ChatGPT interface, and then you want to know what are the hottest news, right? And you want to trust the source, or you want to swap tokens, or you want to analyze a token or a company. You want to learn what about the trends. You want to analyze the blockchain data. So it just helps, let's say, retail users, we call it, right? Or just users, to have a friendly interface and experience with the very complicated space it calls blockchain. And I think that's where, like, most of the use cases, the more sophisticated, I will say, solving hard problems like fraud detection, right? Using AI or machine learning, creating the crypto blockchain space more secure, detecting frauds, or like I said, for smart contract developers, how do you adopt this technology quickly just using a prompt? So that's kind of the other use cases, I will say, but the basic is just making crypto friendly.
Got it. So making crypto friendly to use and AI is ensuring that, also is helping with blockchain technology as well. Can you go into some use cases? Why would someone want to use ChainGPT for their use cases, I guess?
Yeah. So I'm going back to three companies. I'm going to focus on AI. One of the most used, the biggest use case that we have is we call it chatbot, which basically you can put it part of your Telegram community. And then instead of having community um, members to ask, I don't know, the admin questions or whatever, you just talk with the bot. And then it can tell you whatever you want about the community or the product, or let's say most of the things that I see in our community is market analysis. What's happening right now? What should I pay attention? I think this is the biggest use case because there is so much information, and crypto lives in Twitter, which is make it very difficult to understand what's happening. So that's a centralized place to get I'll say the truth, but the more accurate picture of what's happening in crypto. You also see it in other lately AI agents that use kind of a news detection, like what's happening, where should you put your attention? Because I will say the biggest motivation is seeking alpha, right? You want to invest in something, you want to become rich, a lot of people, or to trust a company. And using AI just bring you more accurate information, more trustworthy, and also summarize it for you. I think this is the biggest use case that I see is information, right? Making decision based on information, trusted information. So this is our biggest use case. And then you could put it in different channels. You could put it on, we have on Twitter, for example, on Telegram, on Discord. We use it internally, by the way, to understand what's happening. So it's like your companion, right? Your Web3 companion, like what's happening out there. For other, as I said, other use cases are more technology driven. So smart contract generator, which is very hard to get into developing smart contracts or blockchain application. How do you do this? Again, chatbot, very similar. Like ChainGPT, you just write a prompt and then you get an audited smart contract, which is very difficult things to do. Can cost a lot of money. By the way, blockchain developers are very expensive. So for the average developer, those tools helping you to get advanced and faster time to market. There's other things that I mentioned, also tools that we use, but out there's a lot. How do you crunch all those numbers and bring prediction? This token is valid, this smart contract is valid, more security, right? So that's like, I would say, usability, information, technology. Those are the things that we do, and we see most of our users care about.
Got it. So in terms of the people using ChainGPT, are those developers that are working on blockchain or crypto projects that want to implement something like an AI agent or better smart contract development?
Yeah, that's one of, or as I said, any crypto enthusiast or people interested in crypto and want to understand what's. I think this is the biggest thing, like what's happening out there, why, the price change, or who is this company or new project. How do you find information? I think this is really, really difficult, especially if people are not like, watching crypto 24/7. You want to get something out of it and you want to understand. And every other day, something new is happening in the space. So that's where AI helps to bring the clearer picture for the user and a friendlier interface.
Okay, got it. So where does ChainGPT get the information for its AI?
That's a great question. We use different sources. They're more valid, like APIs from different companies that crunch those numbers or to bring more valid information. Twitter is one source. We are scanning the blockchain for information also. So we're using on-chain activity or any on-chain platform that you can just harness the data. And we train our models and we fine tune them based on-chain and off-chain and data sources that we believe are valid. And it was like trial and error. We got a very good LLM that really helps the crypto space. I don't know if I can really say the names around like which kind of source, but if you try it, you will see it's super valid. Like I just looked at the afternoon and people were asking about the news of Bitcoin. It was super accurate, was timely, exactly what you need to know. And because we are using it for ourselves, we test it on daily basis, right? You go to our chatbot, you can just dash AI, you ask a question, you get an answer. So we see it in real time. So that's how we also develop it, by solving our own problem, I would say.
Got it. So I think you mentioned that ChainGPT was founded 2 years ago. Am I right?
Yeah, a
Okay.
little bit before, but we went live in April 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you seeing more of an interest in crypto and AI in that intersection now that it's 2025 versus a few years ago? Like, are you seeing more users want to use the platform?
First, yes, we have hundreds of thousands user per month for all our products, which is a lot. But I also see a lot of competitors in different levels. Either it could be resource allocation, you can rent a GPU, or it could be data set marketplace, different AI agents on Twitter. And also you see platforms that you can build AI agents for crypto use cases. So if I even look like half year ago where we are right now and the AI sector, I think like 3 months ago, it was one of the biggest sector, like I'm not saying like DeFi, but the emerging one, AI and AI agent become really, really big. And I don't think any, like I'll say serious, but very like big blockchain doesn't think about AI because we're all moving to AI. It's just blockchain. The whole world, right, is invested in AI. It's becoming more friendly, more on the. It will become part of our daily life with AI agents. So the whole market just changed. And for us, we also see more interest by nature. I can see it by token holders, by partners that join us. We got listed on Binance like 3 months ago. So definitely we just started this movement, I will say, one of the first companies, and we see more joining and more users care about AI and trying to solve those problems with AI. Again, for simplicity and interface.
Right, definitely. I mean, I think, as a journalist in the industry since 2017, I feel like this year and even the start, a little bit of last year, there was definitely this newfound interest in AI and how that can be applied to blockchain and crypto. I mean, I wrote about that early on, but it's like now we're really seeing interest this year, maybe because we're,
Yeah,
also with ChatGPT and all these other programs that that are emerging and that people are using now.
definitely. I've just listened to Anthropic and co-founder and OpenAI chief product officer. They both said last week that this year, probably between 80 to 100% of the code out there is going to be generated by AI. Maybe 1% is, I don't know if it's going to happen, but the trend is this is going to be if like imagine all the software you're going to play, work, interact with is somehow created by a bot, by AI agent or AI. This is means like everything is around you will be AI driven, right? And that will also comes to blockchain because it just helps you to solve the resource and time to market. Now everything is just way faster, more accurate. So I think blockchain is just one of the ecosystems that has a big impact because it's so complicated and security, as I mentioned, and usability. AI is going to be a big shift, helping more to get more adoption and more applications.
I agree. It's interesting. I mean, I know this is slightly off topic, but as I was on the way to the podcast studio here at Quai Network, their Layer One blockchain where I film the podcast, I took a Waymo, the self-driving cars. They're all over Austin, San Francisco, and I think and there's maybe Arizona somewhere. But it's interesting to be in a self-driving car and to think about the AI behind that.
Yeah,
At least I think about that because I'm like, I hope this AI or whatever it is doing the self-driving is 100% right. I don't want to get into a car accident. I don't want the AI or whatever it is behind Waymo, which I'm sure there's an AI element behind it.
yeah,
Right. So I
yeah.
think that,
That's
yeah,
changing everything, really.
it's,
Like
yeah. And
definitely.
it's interesting. I prefer Waymo over Uber or Lyft or anything else because I get into a car now. I don't want a human being there. I don't want to talk to a random person. I feel safer in a Waymo. So, just to your point, AI really is changing everything in this world, including the blockchain and crypto sector.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see it coming. It's happening. All like maybe you don't see the evidence, but it's if code is being written by AI, basically you're interacting with AI already. You just don't know it. Which is this is the brilliant.
Right.
I will say the brilliant if we'll not know that we're interacting with blockchain, right? You just do your thing. You want to order a taxi, you want to invest money, you want to buy something, you want to vote. Under the hood, there's going to be different technologies. Nobody's going to say, hey, I just woke up and interact with blockchain or AI. This is just your daily life.
So on that topic, with the intersection of blockchain and AI, do you think AI is going to enable blockchain to be more, and I know more user friendly, but just more accessible where people aren't even going to know that there's blockchain involved? Do you think AI is going to play a role in that?
Imagine like 1 year from now, maybe 2 years, you're going to have your X account, which is basically also your wallet. And behind the scene, you're going to send money, and probably it's going to be stablecoin, which is crypto. And your partner behind the scenes is going to be analyzed by AI, so you know it's true or is valid. And you're going to create content like this. You're going to sell. You're going to monetize maybe your private data. Part of this data is going to inside the blockchain because to verify you, or because you don't want to share your personal data. You have different privacy protocols. You just share your kind of signature, but I don't know what's behind the hood, what's called the ZK proof. So this is where we're going. I think just today there was an announcement. The Sam Altman is working on a stable coin with Visa. This is going to happen eventually. So people not call it blockchain. It's like you don't open your app and say, hey, this is AWS. This is Google Cloud. Like, who cares? Behind the scenes going to be mixture of technologies. And if you're an AI agent, right, you're probably going to, if you write the code or some of the code, you're probably going to choose the best technology for the use case. Some of the use cases the blockchain solved, which is privacy, security, distributed database to protect society, by the way, like voting or whatever, AI will choose blockchain because this is the smart decision. Sometimes no, it will choose like private cloud or private solutions. So we are going there anyway. Maybe we are, as human beings, we don't want to choose certain technology because we fear about blockchain. It doesn't sound like all this scam or whatever. But the use case is there. If you're agnostic to the human behavior and fear, AI will probably choose blockchain for certain infrastructure, like payment or voting or privacy, security, protecting the democracy, for example. So yeah, this is going to happen for sure,
Yeah, and I like
in
the
my opinion.
example. Yeah, for sure. And I like the example that you gave about X and the stablecoin use cases and verification. That makes a lot of sense. But I'm also curious to know, so you recently were listed on Binance, so ChainGPT's token, which is, what is the name of it again?
CGPT,
Okay.
the
And it
token
was recent.
itself, yeah. Yeah.
CGPT was
Yeah.
recently listed on Binance, but what's the purpose of that token?
So with the token, I think the biggest one is when you stake, you can participate in different tier level. In our IDO, for example, I'm just for the sake of the conversation, it's not the correct numbers because I don't remember them by heart. Let's say you stake like 20 grand, and with this, it just gives you possibility to participate in IDOs, right? That are not available to you if you don't stake. So it's a mechanism to ensure that our community is verified in some way, or to give them more benefits when they believe in the project, right? I think this is one of the biggest use case, like staking, and it's opening up different possibilities as a community member. The other use cases also with those tiers, you can get access to more premium products. And with the CGPT, you can also pay with to the premium because not everything is free. Some of our products are free. By the way, we're going to open everything for free, certain usage, like daily transactions. But in the end, people also buying CGPT to use our products. And then the last one is participating in the DAO. So the DAO we are giving them the authority to choose some directions, product development, or decisions that are going to influence them. So be part of the community, you participate in the DAO, it opens up like a suite of products and possibilities And that's majority of the use cases for the CGPT or the utility.
Got it. And when was CGPT listed on Binance? Was that recently?
I think it was January
Yeah,
20. Yeah, January. It was very exciting because you don't know it's going to happen. And then you just
right.
get a call and guys, this is real right now. And as marketing team, we're very much involved in those operation. And that was huge for us. Like Binance is, one of the top. And if you're listed, it means a lot about the projects, about the founders, the technology. They do due diligence. They dig into your numbers and such. So it's like, guys, you're real. This is being when you're listed on Binance. So I'm very happy it happened. It was very stressful, but was everybody was super excited.
Yeah. No, that's really exciting. Binance is great. So
Yeah.
congratulations.
Introducing Quai Network, a next-generation proof-of-work layer 1 for a new decentralized global monetary system. By merging currency with energy, Quai delivers the world's first decentralized energy dollar, stable, scalable, and built for real-world commerce. Harness unstoppable performance to scale global transactions and power next-level DeFi solutions. Quai paves the way for a new monetary era by bringing money, DeFi, and sustainability on a single platform. Learn more and discover how energy becomes currency at QU.ai.
Thank you.
Can we talk a little bit about the evolution of AI agents? So I recently wrote an article on Crypto News about level 3 AI agents, but can you tell us a little bit about what AI agents are and how those have evolved over time and where we are now?
So first is the definition. What is AI agent? It's about being autonomous. So it takes information. Sorry. It takes information. Any information could be from a user or let's say a smart contract or something that happens out there in the world. I don't know, Trump said something, right? Based on this different kind of information, data sets, it makes a decision and it's executed some kind of a task without human touch. Now, there are some agents you need to verify. So for example, let's say you give it's a rule based. If Elon Musk is mentioning Dogecoin on Twitter, buy Dogecoin, right? For example, but you're not super sure. So before it executes, you just click yes or give it the authority to execute on behalf of you, right? By the way, it's going to happen also on Web 2. Like the minute AI agents will get credit card, they will start to seek to gain more money. So that's basically what is AI agent, right? It's about being autonomous, making decisions, and executing. There are not a lot of use cases for a real end-to-end, by the way, AI agent that just work. Nobody touches this, nobody understands this. But they are semi-autonomous, which means like indicators for price change, like I mentioned, or in our use case, we use AI agents to publish news. So the AI agent has this kind of algorithm and he seek the information out there in the ether. They say, this is interesting. Okay, let's publish it on Twitter. So he makes a decision and act. So that's kind of a very, I'll say simple, but it's kind of simple AI agents that we use internally and also our users. And what we will see is more autonomy. The first step, more autonomy. Let's say, I would say it's the next phase. Yeah, it's not really there. And the autonomy will involve making buying, selling decisions. You have the example of course, with Elijah, or I think it's called AI 16Z, right? Right. So they are like a DAO that is AI agent making decisions. I don't know if it's fully autonomous because we still have a DAO. The next phase is a swarm of agents working together. And when I say working together, they're also making the decisions somehow to work together. It's not there yet. We're building on an infrastructure that will enable it. And then basically, maybe you have a swarm that's working on different aspects in the market, making those decisions on buying or selling or creating code, by the way, different kind of pieces of the code, analyzing behavior. I think this is the next step. Maybe somewhere in between or afterwards, again, it's the autonomy of making buying, selling decisions or creation. For me, the last step will be AI agents that create AI agents. That's probably the end game, right? It's like, okay, I need to do this. I have no idea. I will create this code that will help me create the next thing, right? This kind of evolution. I don't know how far we are from there. By the way, I don't think some of the science of reasoning, like how they make decisions, like human beings, on the with the context is not quite there for AI agents in general, Web 2, Web 3. So there will be some advancement. How do you give the authority for an entity to make decisions completely by its own? And then also ethics, right? They are biased. Is it real? Are they trying to manipulate maybe the market or users? So there you will have like a whole, maybe, I don't know, government will enter this domain and say, okay, you cannot do this. You need to be verified. That's where, by the way, where blockchain can help. You can store the metadata or some of the decisions on blockchain, and then it's public. So you can trace back. So we are somewhere in, okay, it's half autonomous, it's doing simple things. The next step is more fully autonomous with a wallet, and then improving the reasoning. So it can really learn and adapt. That's the thing. Like you can really learn from taking actions. By the way, NVIDIA just released a new framework that enables the self-learning, which is insane. It's like a kid, just playing with stuff and learn. So I know advanced it just was like last week, but it's happening, right? It's going there.
Does ChainGPT use anything like that for the platform, like something from NVIDIA that enables self-learning, things like that for the AI?
So we have developed 3 AI agents. It's more about information fetching and publishing. So some of it is news or information that certain members of the community care about. The next step for us is to build a platform that you can create AI agents, monetize them, sell them, I say raise money because it's not correct, but help the like crowd fund, right? The thing is, I think the advancement, if you compare Web 2 to Web 3, you have an easier way to co-create and to monetize what you create because you have a wallet, right? And you don't need to do things that in Web 2 you have to because of regulation. So you can play faster and expand faster. So a platform that you can build and create AI agents. The end game for us is to have a whole infrastructure. That's something that we're building right now that will enable this whole AI economy. Because AI agent is just part, it's a code, you need infrastructure, you need compute, you need storage, you need data sets. So it's not just the application, right? So we are building end-to-end, maybe we can talk about it later, end-to-end infrastructure to enable use cases like AI agents. So the answer is yes, we already have 3, developing a platform and then a whole infrastructure.
I see. So my next question is, with CGPT being listed on Binance, and that's obviously a part of, ChainGPT's ecosystem, for the developers and users that want to use ChainGPT, do they have to be based, like, can people in the United States use the platform? That's the question.
As a user, yes.
Okay. Like
Yes.
for news or something, like I could go on the website and read a news story.
ChainGPT.org. You just click, you connect your wallet. You don't even need to do anything for the free product, and you just play with it. When it comes to the more IDO side, this is not available for US residents regulation. But when we talk about AI, our applications, yes, it's on Twitter for free. We have a chatbot. We have different kind of tools. And globally, we have hundreds of thousands of users using it monthly. So that's fine. It's like any other product.
Right. So if I was a developer, for instance, and I wanted to use ChainGPT to use AI for a smart contract, right? Like I couldn't be based in the United States then. I'd have to be based in Europe or something.
No, it's again, when it comes to the application itself, when there is no financial gain, just create either code or want to seek for information, the latest news about Ethereum or Solana, that doesn't matter. As long as you have a wallet, and again, all of those products going to be free for a certain amount of transactions. That's fine. You don't need to stake. You don't need to do anything. It's just like, SaaS, Web 2. You just connect. It's just a wallet and that's it. But you don't need to buy anything. And then you just do whatever you want. And it doesn't matter where you are located. By the way, most of our users are from US. So there is no problem. Just any other product.
Got it. Cool. So we've been talking a lot about AI and AI agents and what they're capable of. So do you think that we are going to eventually see a world where AI replaces humans completely, or do you think that there will always be a human element behind AI?
Well, I've been thinking about it a lot because it's moving so fast. And, I think it was 1.5 years ago, there were like 30,000 people. Elon Musk was one of them that signed a kind of petition. You need to stop AI. I remember the exact name, was the big thing. And they said the number one risk is going to kill us, basically, somehow. And then there's loss of jobs, and it's hard to predict, right? Nobody talked about AI agents like a year ago. I think even 3 months ago or 4, it was like interesting concept. Now you can use OpenAI, ChatGPT operator, and every platform like Facebook and Google and Anthropic and also the Chinese company or Southeast Asia are working on AI agents. And this is a huge gain in productivity. That's the problem. It's not like another software. I can do what I do today when I use AI. It's probably a day worth like a week if I compare it like 3 years ago. I can do research, I can write articles, I can verify stuff. And now imagine just put it on steroids and give it like some kind of autonomy. And for me, the next level again is AI agents create AI agents. And then you don't even know you're interacting with AI agents. It's just, you call your bank, you rent a car, you go to your shrink even. They might be better than a human and cheaper. And once they will have this economy of AI agents, they will also have some power over us, right? Because you cannot win this kind of intelligence. It's going to be really, really hard. AI and OpenAI just mentioned that they're going to release a product that costs, I think, $20K a month. That's basically replacing PhDs. So how do you can compete with this, right? So somebody will have to stop this because in the end it will become a weapon. I think this is the biggest threat. Not it's going to weaponize itself, like people out there or different governments will say, okay, we need to protect our people, our interests. And AI is very, very powerful. So it's hard to predict, even if I think what's going to happen half a year from now. When those people say 90% of the code is going to be generated by AI, which I'm not sure it's going to happen, but a lot of the code, then it will mean we will live in a society that run by code that we didn't write. This is a little bit scary, right?
It's really scary. It's scary.
So the society, it's not like society. Like imagine your electricity bill, your shopping, the way you look. Influencers will be AI agents. It's already happening, right? We know it. Like there are virtual figures out there. Why should you have a person? Like movies, even movies. You put like an AI. Brad Pitt will rent his is IP. You will have TV series, but it's already happening, right? Because when you watch Netflix, it's run by algorithms. This is
Right.
how they pick scripts. So we're not far from this is everywhere. Maybe it's already happened, but nobody told us.
Yeah, it's really scary. I'm actually really curious, and I didn't before this interview. I have not read the content that ChainGPT is producing, but as a journalist and as someone who's been writing about crypto and blockchain for almost 10 years now, I'm actually
Yeah.
very curious to see the quality of the content that ChainGPT produces using AI versus like the content that I write. I'm convinced that AI will not be able to write content on such a high level as a human like myself. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm going to go and read that news that ChainGPT is producing because now I'm actually very
Interesting.
curious. I'm really curious to see how in depth that AI gets.
That's interesting experiment. I think it's gonna happen, and only handful of people will be very, very creative and innovative. And for the rest of us, it's going to be really struggle to win in the AI race. Um, like even if you talk about content, I don't know if it's part of our conversation, but think about content. Today, I can hire somebody at Upwork, which is cheaper, faster. Tomorrow, it's going to be AI agent. And anyway, nobody is going to read most of the content. You're going to go to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever to learn about something. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm not looking at Google anymore. Now, maybe for you and me, we still have the habit, right, of using search. But my kids, 5 years from now, I don't know if they know what is Google. Why should they? They already use AI. It's cool, and with Canva and different tools. They don't know what is Google Docs or no Docs a little bit, but presentation. They don't know what it is. They use Canva with AI. So there is a generation that's going to see it as given, right? This is like social media. Like when I grew up in the 80s, there was no social media, even the 90s. Um, my Facebook, I think I created like 2006. But before that, I was like 26 and I never used social media. And so I'm a different person than people that grew up into those technologies. How they perceive reality, truth, society is very, very different. Democracy, right? So that's going to change everything.
Well, I agree. And, like my nephews, I've got nephews in Dallas and my other nephews are in Paris. And they're so excited about Bitcoin because, when I come to visit them, all they want to talk about is Bitcoin. They
Yeah,
know what I do. So I don't know if your kids are also,
not yet. They
talking
are too
about,
small. Like
okay.
the oldest is 9. So
Yeah. Soon enough, because I do
yeah,
think that's also the future for like, these kids. They're going to grow up with digital currency and
true.
they're going to just know what Bitcoin is. That's what I think, like my nephew Leon in Paris, he really wants some Bitcoin. And I'm like, yeah, I wish I could give you like one full Bitcoin right now.
Yeah,
But that's what these kids want. They want crypto and they're going to want all this AI technology, so it's really crazy to think about.
yeah. That I agree. That's going to happen. This kind of we're going to use stablecoin. I think I just read a report in the last 3 years, around $800 billion is like annually is being transferred, which is just stable coin. And usually it's like B2B, it's not smaller players. So this is happening behind the hood. Nobody's talking about this like in the news. The revolution is here. Now, the minute you have somebody saying, okay, this is going to be part of the Federal Reserve or a country reserve, it's an end game, right? So that's happening.
Yeah. Shifting gears a little bit, do you think AI is going to impact Bitcoin at all? Like, is that going to impact Bitcoin?
Um, I think the power of, let's go back to AI agents. It will be easier for them to open a wallet. You just do it. It's a code. It's a piece of code. which you can also say for Web 2, but you need to go through certain regulation, right? You're an entity, you need to open a business. But if like MetaMask, I can open right now, like in a couple of clicks. So if I'm an AI agent and I want to expand, I have some kind of a purpose, right? I want to create the best content ever. I want to learn. Maybe I want to take a course. I want to transact. I need more servers. I'm opening a wallet, which means I need Bitcoin or stablecoin to transact. So that's what I talked to like earlier, like a few minutes ago. That's going to be a whole AI agentic era, which is an economy, and it will be smarter to use stablecoin and on a bank account, right? Like imagine now if I need to transfer money to you in Texas from the Netherlands, it will take like 3 days. Stablecoins like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So
Stable coins are they're a game changer.
yeah, yeah, it's changing. It will change everything definitely. The minute like society will say, okay, this is an easier, faster, cheaper way, and we can also regulate it a bit because there is some logic for regulation. It's the path, like why using the old system. I think it's going to happen in the next few years, but who knows? Because it's still politics. It's not just, and people fear from the new, right? But I think it's going to happen, especially with the agentic era.
Yes, definitely. Wow. Yeah. Well, I know we're running low on time. This has just been such a fascinating conversation. Like, I think that's really what people want to know about now is AI and its impact on all these different markets, especially crypto and blockchain. But what's next for ChainGPT? I know you mentioned AI agents creating their own AI agents, but is there anything else that you want to talk about?
So when we looked at the adoption of blockchain and the problems, and also the adoption of AI, for example, the blockchain is about scalability. It's not easy. Like if you want to put AI application, it's a lot of compute, it's a lot of resource storage. It's not easy. But we do understand, like if you look at the future, there will be more usage of blockchain technology for AI for the reasons of security and privacy. For example, as an AI agent and you want to trace me and you want to make sure I'm legit, maybe you will use some kind of privacy protocol that puts some of the data on blockchain so it's public and somebody can verify it. Maybe you will use smart contract that's a rule based, but it's public, which means I cannot influence it, right? Because if I'm Microsoft right now, not that I have anything against Microsoft, but I can write a code, you don't know what's happening behind the scenes, right? Cambridge Analytica maybe rings a bell for some people, for few people. But so if you put it on public chain, then it belongs to all of us. And I think this is the future for agentic era, because if they have so much power, then comes a lot of responsibility. Where do you put this responsibility? China, US, Europe, big players? I think it should be on chain. So when we see those kind of problems of privacy on the other end and security and then scalability, and we believe that blockchain is going to help the agentic era, we're building end-to-end infrastructure where people can sell data, sell models, monetize, create infrastructure for AI agents, use a dedicated layer for AI applications. And we saw there are some kind of bit of pieces of technology out there, but nobody put it all together, right? So if you are a Web2 or Web3 company and you want to use blockchain because there is a reason, not because it's cool, and it will happen, you're probably going to use us because we are building this unified infrastructure to enable the AI economy using the blockchain.
Definitely. And I'm also impressed because obviously, you know, that you said the company was started a few years ago and now you already have hundreds of thousands of users. And I know, you know, looking at the social media accounts that there is a large community
Yeah,
behind ChainGPT. And I'm really excited for you guys and excited to know more about the project because I really do think that AI is one of the most interesting topics when it comes to crypto and blockchain.
yeah, I agree. Because it's two things that are very advanced, can change society. That's the premise of Bitcoin, right? It started with the 2008 when we don't believe in financial institute anymore. And I think AI is, if we give it the right direction, it can go there. But how do we verify? How do we trace? And that's solving those two problems is really, really interesting for society, right? The it's giving the hard things that we have here in the West world. Also, we sometimes forget that there is abundance. You know, opening a bank account, it's like this. Your US dollar is US dollar. You go to the supermarket tomorrow, it's the same thing. But some countries, they don't have this kind of wealth. So those two applications, they give, by the way, people from other countries the possibility to be part of the global financial and global workspace, right? You can use stablecoin to earn money. You're not dependent on your local currency. You can use your AI to teach you, to help you to become like any other person. That's changing everything, right? It's really democratizing knowledge and money together. But we need to make some decisions to make it happen as a society, and there are some struggles.
Definitely. Well, I'm sure over time those struggles are going to be worked out, and I'm definitely curious to see how ChainGPT is going to evolve. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the project.
You should.
Yeah. So Sharon, how can our listeners get in touch with you, or if they want to use ChainGPT, how can they do that?
So it's like you can search my name on LinkedIn or Twitter. I have my own blog post, by the way. I'm talking about AI and AI agents. That's one way. I'm participating in certain conferences, by the way. The next one is in Hong Kong
Oh,
in 3
nice.
weeks. So
Which one is it?
I think it's Web3 Festival. It sounds fishy, but it's really big. It's 30,000 people in Hong Kong.
No, Hong Kong is the place to be for these conferences. That's for sure. Like Asia has it like down when it comes to crypto blockchain AI.
Yeah. And ChainGPT is simple, chaingpt.org, and just, find your way, or our X account, chain underscore GPT, and you will find your way. It's really easy. The whole thing is just simplicity. Just play with it, test it, follow me, follow us, doesn't matter. You will find very interesting stuff, definitely.
Yeah. Well, Sharon, this has been a real pleasure. I'm really glad we got to chat and catch up. And yeah, maybe we'll do a follow-up at some point, find out what's new.
It's moving so fast. So 3 months from now, it's like 3 years in the regular universe.
That's true. Okay. Well, Sharon, thank you again. And I look forward to staying in touch.
Thank you.
Special thanks to 4Labs Digital for producing Web3 Deep Dive podcast. I'd also like to thank the sponsors behind Web3 Deep Dive. You can click the links in the show notes to learn more about each of the Web3 initiatives from these sponsors. Finally, thanks to the listeners for tuning in. Please be sure to subscribe, like, and share.